because it was the first time in the history of this republic that our federal government said we're going to try to treat cigar consumers, cigar retailers, and cigar manufacturers like other tobacco products in a fashion that is actually more harmful than the way they treat other tobacco products.
Yeah. Where's the status of that now? There's so much, there's emails every day and news and updates. What is going on with that?
Well, now we're in the review stage. From April 25th to August the 8th, 2014 was the public comment period. 82,000 comments were submitted to the FDA. About 100 of those truly matter. And those are the ones that came from the industry. The other tens of thousands can slow down the process. Right. I mean, on the last day, 1 hour before the deadline, we hand-delivered to the FDA 50 pounds of petitions just to make a political statement.
Yeah.
But the review period is right now, and I'll do some Kiss My Ash breaking news. We got a word last night that on Monday there's going to be a collection of senators that are going to issue a letter, and it's going to be very public. This is breaking news on Kiss My Ash.
This is coming Monday.
This coming Monday, a group of senators that are anti-tobacco are going to issue a letter demanding that the FDA try to issue a rule on cigars and other tobacco products before Margaret Homburg, the current commissioner of the FDA, leaves office in March. Now, do I think that's realistic bureaucratically or politically? No. But they're going to give it the try. And it just shows to dramatize what we confront and how the political dynamic changes every single day. The smart money would be to try to issue a rule later this year. And that's the reason we're ramping up our legislative effort. We've refiled the legislation that's been pending in the 112th and 113th Congress. We've got 46 members of the House of Representatives, very bipartisan, Democrat, Republican on that bill. Likewise in the Senate, here in Florida, Senator Nelson and Rubio are spearheading the effort with the senators. We've got 11 on the Senate bill. There will be probably 15 to 16 within the next week or two. We want to ramp those numbers up as quickly as possible to send a political message to the FDA. Not only do you want to screw with cigars, but you want to mess with the members of the United States Congress, many of which voted for the original Tobacco Control Act. This is Glenn Loop, the Executive Director of Cigar Rights of America. Just want to highlight that the greatest challenge confronting every cigar consumer, retailer, and manufacturer literally in the world right now is the proposed FDA regulation of premium handmade cigars. The FDA has put forth a 241-page document that would change the landscape of this industry forever. Pre-market approval for any new blend coming onto the market, $10 price point to be a premium cigar, to even classify for a possible exemption, a ban on free samples of any kind, new user fees that will jack up the price of cigars for retailers and consumers across the board. It's incumbent upon every one of us to help stop this. So we have legislation filed in the Congress, which is H.R. 662 and S. 441. We encourage anybody seeing this broadcast to write their member of Congress, to encourage their co-sponsorship of that legislation, because it's the only way to truly secure the future of the premium cigar industry. So we hope you help us out with that. And if you go to cigarrights.org, it will tell you everything you need to know, including a petition that will be conveyed directly to your member of Congress, encouraging their support of this legislation. It's important to highlight that we have legislation filed in the United States Congress that would exempt premium handmade cigars from FDA oversight. H.R. 662 and S. 441 would do exactly that. Legislation was filed in this new Congress, the 114th session of Congress, just 2 weeks ago. Already we have 46 members of Congress, very bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans, coming together to tell the FDA to stay out of the premium cigar business. Likewise, the Senate bill has 11 co-sponsors right now. We'll be up to 16 to 18 very, very shortly. Again, very bipartisan. The initial 10 members of the Senate that signed on was 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. Some very liberal, some very conservative. It's important to also note that the last 2 sessions of Congress, we've had over 251 members of Congress sign on to this legislation. Of that 251, 72 voted for the original Tobacco Control Act, which means those members know that there's a difference between regulating cigars and other tobacco products. Congress told the FDA to regulate cigarettes and smokeless products. They didn't tell them to regulate cigars. And this legislation highlights that fact and sends a huge political message to the FDA that they are going beyond the original congressional intent of the Tobacco Control Act. That's a very important message right now as we're confronting a regulatory environment unlike any time in history.